Ava never believed that one careless sentence could destroy something real. Not a mistake. Not an accident. But a joke, said at the wrong time, to the wrong heart. And sometimes, that's all it takes. Ava and Daniel had been together for 4 years. Not perfect. But real. The kind of relationship built slowly, not through fireworks, but through everyday moments that quietly turn into love. Daniel wasn't the loud type. He didn't show love in grand speeches or expensive surprises. He showed it in small things. He remembered how Ava liked her coffee, extra milk, no sugar. He noticed when she was tired before she even said a word. He texted her drive safe even when she was just going 5 minutes away. And when Ava had bad days, Daniel didn't fix her. He stayed. And sometimes, staying is the most powerful form of love. Ava used to appreciate that. But over time, something changed. Comfort started turning into boredom. Stability started feeling like routine. And routine slowly started feeling like restriction. It didn't happen suddenly. It happened in small cracks. A joke here. A comparison there. A little curiosity about what else life could be. At 27, Ava started feeling stuck. Not in her life, but in her mindset. She would scroll through social media and see girls traveling, partying, living freely. And then she would look at her life. Work. Home. Dinner with Daniel. Netflix. Sleep. It wasn't bad. It was just familiar. Too familiar. And familiarity, when misunderstood, starts feeling like limitation. Then one day, everything changed. Ava got selected for a 3-week international program in Barcelona. She couldn't believe it. She screamed in the office. She hugged her colleagues. And for the first time in a long time, she felt something she had been missing. Excitement. When she told Daniel, he was genuinely happy. He hugged her tightly. "I'm proud of you," he said. And he meant it. No jealousy. No insecurity. Just love. But love is strange. Sometimes one person is celebrating growth, while the other is slowly drifting away from gratitude. The days before her trip were filled with preparation. Daniel helped her pack. He checked flight details. He even researched the safest areas in Barcelona. Ava noticed everything. But she didn't fully feel it. Because something inside her was already shifting. Her friends were the first trigger. "You're going alone?" Serena asked excitedly. "This is your chance to live a little." Another friend laughed. "European men are different, you know." Ava laughed too. At first, it was harmless. But repeated words slowly become beliefs. And beliefs shape behavior. The night before her flight, Ava and Daniel had dinner together. Simple pasta. Soft music in the background. Daniel looked at her with calm eyes. "You'll be okay there, right?" Ava smiled. "Of course." Then she smirked. Half joking. Half careless. "What if I accidentally hook up with some hot guy over there?" The moment she said it, something in the room changed. Daniel stopped eating. The fork froze in his hand. He looked at her slowly. Not angry. Not loud. Just hurt. "Ava, don't joke like that." She laughed lightly. "Oh, come on, it's just a joke." But Daniel didn't smile. "I don't find that funny." A small silence followed. Then Ava sighed. "You're so clingy sometimes." That word. Clingy. It landed differently. Daniel looked down for a second. Not because he was controlling, but because he was trying to understand how love became a joke in her mouth. "I'm not clingy," he said softly. "I just care about you." But Ava was already distracted. And that was the first real crack. Not cheating. Not distance. But disrespect disguised as humor. Barcelona was beautiful. Too beautiful. The streets felt alive. Music everywhere. People laughing freely. Ava felt something unlock inside her. Freedom. Or what she thought was freedom. She posted pictures constantly. Beach sunsets. Wine glasses. Nightclubs. Every post got attention. Likes. Comments. Validation. And validation is addictive. Daniel kept texting her every day. At first, she replied warmly. But slowly, her responses became delayed. Shorter. Colder. Daniel noticed. Of course he did. He always noticed. One night he called her. Ava was at dinner with her group. She saw his name flash on the screen. Serena leaned over. Your boyfriend again? Ava smirked. Yeah. She declined the call. Then laughed. He's always like this. But deep down, something uncomfortable flickered. Because Daniel wasn't calling to control her. He was calling because he missed her. But when you're surrounded by the wrong voices, even love starts sounding like pressure. Then came Luca. Confident. Charming. Effortless. The kind of man who made attention feel like oxygen. He didn't chase. He didn't force. He simply existed in a way that made people want to be near him. And Ava noticed him noticing her. At first, it was harmless conversation. Then long talks. Then private jokes. Then emotional sharing. And slowly, without realizing it, Ava began comparing. Luca felt exciting. Daniel felt safe. And in that moment of confusion, excitement started winning. One night, Luca said something casually that stayed in her mind. You seem happier here than when you talk about your boyfriend. Ava laughed it off. But inside, she didn't deny it. Because denial would mean facing truth. And truth is uncomfortable. So she avoided it. Daniel, meanwhile, was feeling something he couldn't explain. Not evidence. Not proof. Just instinct. Something was wrong. A distance he couldn't measure. A silence in her voice that didn't belong. One night, he asked carefully. Are we okay? Ava sighed. You're overthinking. But Daniel persisted gently. You feel different. I'm busy, Daniel. That's not what I mean. Her tone changed. You're being obsessive. That word hit him quietly. Not because it was true. But because it was unfair. Still, he didn't argue. He simply said, I just miss you. And that was the moment Ava started emotionally disconnecting further. Because emotional honesty started feeling like pressure. Then came the night everything broke. A club. Loud music. Bright lights. Alcohol. Laughter. Ava dancing with Luca. Feeling seen. Feeling wanted. Daniel called again. She looked at her phone. Paused. Then declined. And that decision mattered more than she knew. Because love doesn't break in one moment. It breaks in repeated choices. Later, Luca walked her back to her hotel. The air was quiet. Cold. He looked at her and said softly, You're not really here emotionally, are you? Ava didn't answer. Because silence is sometimes agreement. And that silence became the final step away from loyalty. The next morning changed everything. Ava woke up. Head heavy. Heart heavier. Luca was still asleep. But guilt was awake. Her phone had dozens of messages. And one final message from Daniel. I don't know why, but I feel like I lost you last night. Ava froze. Because somehow he knew. Not details, but emotional truth. And emotional truth always finds a way to speak. That's when panic started. Not regret. Panic. Because she realized she hadn't just crossed a line. She had destroyed trust. When she returned home weeks later, Daniel picked her up. The car ride was silent. Too silent. Daniel looked tired. Emotionally drained. Like someone who had been carrying pain alone for too long. Finally he asked. Did something happen? Ava's throat tightened. She could lie. But she didn't. And when she broke down crying, Daniel already understood. No shouting. No anger. Just silence. Then pain. What did I do wrong? He whispered. That question broke her more than anything. Because he did nothing wrong. And still lost everything. Ava cried. I'm sorry. Daniel nodded slowly. You called me clingy for loving you. His voice shook slightly. I wasn't trying to control you. I was trying to keep us safe. But safety means nothing when someone is chasing excitement. The breakup wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. That's what made it worse. No big fight. Just realization. And acceptance. Daniel eventually left. And Ava stayed behind in a silence she created herself. Months passed. Ava tried reaching him. Messages. Calls. Apologies. But some hearts don't reset. They only recover. Slowly. Differently. One winter afternoon, she saw him at a cafe. He wasn't alone. He looked peaceful. Calm. Moved on. And that hurt more than anger ever could. When they spoke briefly, Daniel said something she would never forget. You didn't lose me when you cheated. You lost me when you made loyalty feel like a burden. And then he walked away. Ava stood there alone. Understanding something too late. Love doesn't die from one mistake. It dies from repeated disrespect. From ignoring someone who cares. From choosing excitement over loyalty. And from laughing at the person who only ever wanted to stay. Because in the end, Daniel wasn't clingy. He was just in love. And Ava wasn't free. She was careless. And the difference changed everything.